criminal, that's why. I'm sending it to you guys so that you can listen to what goes on in my life. This is all personal stuff.
All Aes Sedais are lesbians. And I'm like, absolutely not, actually. A lot of them are sleeping with their warders. That's what they have
And
warders,
that was
sleep
definitely
with their
implied
warders.
in episode 4.
It was implied. It's fine, but either way, it doesn't matter. All of them are not lesbians. Maybe the Reds are a little bit, but you can see it doesn't.
Well, and apparently, I mean, you can make up whatever you want in this.
You can.
I actually went back and I watched. I forced myself to watch episode 1 again, and they mentioned ta'veren, and no explanation. And I started reading.
Yeah, what does it mean? What does ta'veren mean? Like, why even bring it up? And they still haven't.
Yeah, why even bring it up if you're not going to explain it?
In the 6th one,
it's
so far. Yeah,
I think it's more. It's actually, it's more than just careless. It's just the height of foolish and incompetent script writing.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that in so many instances. I'm seeing that on so many levels of incompetent script writing and incompetent directing, particularly with transitions and with forcing things and forcing like the plot to move forward without giving us the depth of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm finally realizing what bothers me so much about it. It's not that the story is not gripping. I mean, it's not that it's the worst story on Earth. That's what it is. It's not that they've done the worst job on Earth.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's okay.
It's fine.
But to me, that is the worst thing about it, is that it's okay. And it's these little things that could, like, someone, honestly, you could have just done one little thing and it would have made it great. One little thing.
Yep.
But either way, like I said, this isn't. It's not what it could be or what it should be. And these little things. This is bare par. This is the worst part about this production, is that it barely breaks par. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this is the standard. Maybe the special effects are better than a CW thing, but the story, the whole thing deserves so much more, and it deserves the attention, and not just the, okay, well, the producer or someone says that we should add in a lesbian scene to add in the lesbians. Or, you know what, every single person, we should try to incorporate every single person of every single race. You definitely should, but make it their own.
But not all in one village.
They're not all in one village.
So let me just, in fact, I need to go back to that, because I watched episode 1 again. And I was just like, okay, I can see this and I can see that. Like there were some things, but the one thing that bothered me more than anything else, where I actually spoke vocally, was like, why is there a black woman in this village? Why is there an Asian woman in this village? The whole point was that Rand was an outsider, that he with red hair was different. And so it was crucial that everybody else in the village was similar. They don't have immigrants. Like it says in the book, actually, people don't ever leave Emmons Field, and people don't ever move into Emmons Field. Like it's this small, quaint, remote village where you do not have all of the races of the entire world in this village. And that's the point. And my wife brought up something incredibly crucial. Later on, spoiler alert, thumbs up, right? Okay.
Thumbs up.
Okay. Later on in the books, they have all this influx of refugees that come to Emmons Field. Remember this?
Yes, I already told you this. Remember?
Okay, maybe you told me, but like they all come, and that's when you see the diversity, and it needs to be a contrast to what it was in the first episode. But it never will be, because they already had all of it there.
No, the thing that you're missing, thumbs down, whatever. The things that you're missing from this is the discovering it for the first time.
Yes.
Discovering it with the characters. Nothing has been like, wow. Nothing has been like that with the characters. You do not feel them grow at all. In fact, the characters have not grown at all. You don't feel any change. You don't feel like they have there's anything new about them other than they're being
Yeah.
chased. Whoopity-doo, I'm being
Yeah.
chased. That happens.
There
So
is
this-
that, and that's what happens when you start them out at the maturity level they are, and one of them being married when he shouldn't be married, and two of them having sex when they shouldn't be having sex. It's like you're not giving them a place to go. And
it just
and this
doesn't
is-
it doesn't ring true. Nothing does. And not to say that kids don't have sex nowadays. Whippity-doo,
Sure,
we have
absolutely.
sex. Everyone has sex. But that
but
was
not
a-
in this village.
not in that village. It was heavily handed. Everyone was like that. And
Just heavy-handed, exactly.
And anyway, so
Well, so
hold
this
on.
is something. Can we let's jump into episode 7, and maybe I'll
no,
jump
no,
midway.
I gotta go first because I don't want you to say it before me, Brian. Okay.
Well, this is a
The
segue
way
to what
that
we
they
were talking about.
started, the way that they started episode 7 should have been the start of episode 1, with her
How do you-
fighting on Dragon Mount.
Oh yes.
That is how. In fact, this is what bothers me so much about this. I was like, this is where, in fact, in my opinion, this is an epic fail on their part for them not putting that as the very beginning. That sets it up as like, whoa, what happened? And this woman is incredible at fighting. She is awesome.
I loved that scene. I loved it.
So good. It was so good. In fact, I was like, I almost forgive everything that you've done, but you still put this in the wrong place. How foolish of you. How foolish. Put that at the very beginning, and then that immediately grips people. Immediately grips people, and that to me would have been like, oh, right. Wow. This is epic. We're seeing something awesome.
I'm on board. I'm on board then.
However, and then if you go back and watch the first episode again, you see Lan again, a landman dragon. He's clumsy compared to her. He's clumsy in they did not take the time to be like, all right, this guy needs to be awesome and he needs to show it. But it just feels clumsy. They didn't take that time. Again, these minute things are epic to me.
So one thing that, and this is going back to the first episode, but they had Rand and Tam Althor's farm get attacked, right? The door bursts open, one Trolloc comes in, and Tam Althor can barely fight off this one Trolloc.
Yep.
Remember this, right?
I remember this.
And in the book, he slays two of them immediately coming in the door, and their bodies pile up in the door, and and other Trollocs behind them have to pull them out. There are dozens of Trollocs that attack their farm, not just one, dozens. And Tam fights them all off and escapes through the window, comes out, and he's wounded. Okay, but he fought off all of these Trollocs because he is a sword master, because he has the Heronmark blade, and that was never implied, and that was such an epic fail on their part just with that one scene. And again, and they still haven't explained the Heronmark. That's they put it in the ground, in the snow in this episode when he helps
they're connecting it. That was their connection, where they're just before Rand comes in and says, "I'm."
That was their connection to say, "Oh, this is him." But they still haven't shown, oh, that's what a Heronmark blade is,
Yeah.
Like,
it means nothing. Why are you pulling attention to it when you do not give an
if you're not going to explain it
somewhere in the story that isn't way far away when we forget about it.
Lan explains it to Rand while Tam is on his deathbed, basically, while Tam is, is there in the village, recovering. Lan says, "Where did you get that sword? That's quite a sword. That's and he says, that Heronmark, that's the sign of a blade master, basically, and that's So again, Robert Jordan takes the opportunities to build his world naturally, to build the world and to expand the vision and what's happening with the characters and these, the main characters gradually. But like you said, I've seen a little to no growth with any of the characters.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve may be an exception, but let me just say, again, feeling the need to have sex.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not opposed to sex. I'm a big fan of sex. Okay. But
Yep.
but in this episode, she sleeps with Lan.
Yes, and that robs later on.
But no, you have not earned it, and it cheapens their relationship, in my opinion, right now, just as it cheapened and denigrated the relationship of Rand and Egwene.
I love when they the scene when they're in the cottage and he's visiting his former person that guarded him when he was a child or whatever it was, and he goes into the house and it shows him, and then it has the music playing to be like, oh, this is an emotion, and then Nynaeve follows him and comes in, like, but that whole thing, it actually sickened me because I was like, so what? Like, where is this? Like, where is this? Oh, something's awesome and something's changed. Oh, he's with the kid. To me, like, he is so emotional right now. His character is so emotional that it feels that wasn't earned. Like, who gives a damn? Like, honestly, it's just little fodder that means nothing. Now, this is how they should have done it. Okay, I'm gonna give you another. This is how they should have done it. Once again, if they were going to have something like that and they had to have like some music playing, he needs to be stoic the whole time. He needs to have that wall that no one can break down. Nynaeve follows him, and then he comes out, and then when he's acting like that with the children and his walls break down for these people, that's when she's like, looks at him and is like, oh, this is something different.
This is a different person. This is a different person than I've seen.
And that's when she falls in love with him or whatever. But then it doesn't.
But the problem was in episode 5 when they spent an inordinate amount of time on this warder that lost his Aes Sedai and committed suicide, and they had this great mourning scene, with Lan pounding his chest and all of them pounding their chests and all of them dressed in white, including Nynaeve, who's a stranger there, who doesn't know him from Adam. They aren't earning it. They're not earning it. And this is
the same thing that J.J. Abrams did. Okay, I'm gonna go into this, Brian. Sorry. When Han Solo dies, and Leia, instead of going to Chewie, he walks to Rhea, who barely has met her, and Chewie's been with him this whole time. She ignores Chewie.
Oh, God.
What the hell? And I think he even admitted that he did that wrong. He's like, yeah, I got that wrong, which, good. I'm glad you admitted that.
At least he can admit it, right?
Yeah, at least he can admit it.
So the last time we see Nynaeve, she is with the three, young people from the village who are not really young anymore, and feeling bad about the rift that she's created between them, whatever. That's the last time we see her, and then suddenly she's out in the street following Lan. Like, you have the power of film. All you have to do is have this transition of Lan says, that Moiraine says you need to go see some people. And Lan says yes. And he goes out the door, walks down the hall, and then you see Nynaeve poke her head around the corner. That's all you needed. But you didn't have that. And suddenly he's out in the street. He's walking down the street, and I'm thinking, okay, we're spending time in the street. Why are we taking this time? Again, seconds are valuable, and you're taking the time to show him walk down 2 different streets or something. And then there's no sign of Nynaeve, and then suddenly she appears outside this house or whatever, and I'm like, what? Why? Where? What? It's just confusion. It was much more egregious in episode 5, I believe, when Loial bounds on the door, and I said this already, and he says, "Oh, I found someone and then she comes in. It's like, what? Where did she come from? She was in the tower the last time I saw her. Just egregious mistakes on the part of writers, directors, producers, that they would allow these things to pass through their editing filter. It's criminal. It really is.
And again, the worst thing about it is that this just makes it subpar, and it does not make it a great film. It is not something where you're going to be, I want to see that again. I want to go through those again. No. When you do the second time, you're going to be like, all right, whatever. It was okay. So let's go back to Disneyfying it, because they did some Disneyfying.
Okay.
So first off,
Which
I
part?
already mentioned in episode 1 with Pat and Fane, and I said exactly what happened here, where I said, why the hell did they show him with the Trollocs like grinning? We don't have to know at the first episode that he is bad. That is such bullshit. Like, you don't need that at all. In fact, that was the worst thing. Well, not the worst thing, but it's just just poorly done. Oh, I know that he's there. And then when he comes out of the Waygate and starts walking towards the city, and to me, I was just like, man, it would have been so much better if we were just like, hey, who is this person? And then it's revealed later on, hey, I think I saw Pat and Fane. No, he's dead. And then you're like, okay, well, what's going on? Obviously, later on, it's going to lead to something. But that would have been so much better. You don't have to already know that Pat and Fane is a dark friend. That's just stupid, poorly done. Again, so many just the minute little things that make it an okay film or okay production. So that's one.
Yeah, I think you really hit it on the head, that it's just fine. I mean, it's not even mediocre. It's just fine.
It's just fine.
I mean, I can't even say it's good. Maybe it's good, but it's just fine. Really, it's just fine. And what made, Game of Thrones so stellar is that it was superior.
Yeah.
It's
not because of the sex. It's not because of the swearing. Yeah. It's better than the book.
It's the way they told the story in the medium of film. And what's happened with this series is that they are botching the element of film. They are failing in actually storytelling with film in many respects. They are failing to bring across the most important elements of the book, but failing to use the medium of film to the greatest advantage.
So the Disneyfying thing that they did, they go to the Borderlands, and there's like every other race there. Now I'm fine with every other race. They did do some things where they had the commander Asian, and is Asian the right word?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Asian is the right word.
Yeah, I need to be PC. I loved that they were Asian. I loved that that girl was Asian. That was awesome. However, there are so many people in the Guard that weren't, and all around it was like a conglomeration of now we have an Irish person. Now I don't know if he's Irish, but that was the feel for me. Yeah. Is that please there are enough Asians to give them that land to be like, this is who we are. And maybe some of them aren't.
The Asian realm. It's like you think that every single place has to be a melting pot.
Yeah. It's fine to have other people. It is totally fine to have other people in that city and things like that. But the hierarchy and all of that, come on. Who I liked was Min. Hold on, I got to get to Min. I actually liked her a lot. Yeah. However, she wasn't the playful one that I thought that she was in the book. But I did like her a lot. I did think, okay, yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they needed her. That's a horrible thing to say. Like, as much as I'll say remain true to the books or whatever, she's not important to the book. She actually isn't.
If they were going to say that she sees things with these four, have more. Have, like, all she sees is Rand holding a baby? What the hell?
Yeah, the baby thing, that got me. Like, I can understand other things, but the baby, like, why did they even bring that in?
Well, that and that's, to me, is like, well, that's not even a thing. What the, none of the significant things.
Thumbs up. Once again, thumbs down means it's not a spoiler anymore. So thumbs up. No, he does get Elaine pregnant. Elaine has two twins, and she's pregnant throughout the last of the books. And Min, I believe, gets pregnant. Maybe I can't remember.
I don't know, but it's not, again, him holding a baby, like, that has nothing to do with the majority, almost the entirety of the entire series of 14 books.
No, it doesn't have anything to do.
And
it's
none of those specific images that were in the book when she first sees him are even mentioned. So let's go back to the beginning of the episode, okay, and maybe kind of a little bit to before. So Matt stays behind, okay, which was okay. That's
I
an
didn't mind
interesting
that.
choice. I didn't mind it either. But then Moraine starts talking about the darkness in him, that there's this darkness in him, which that the dagger fed off of him as much as he fed off of the dagger. And I'm like, what? This is not the Matt that I know.
No, there's nothing like the Matt that we know.
And that's the problem, is that you're almost hinting like, oh, are they gonna like make this so that he's gonna become a general for the dark or something? Like, what in the crap, you know?
Like, later on when they start arguing about it, and the way they justify and saying that he's good is Rand saying, he loves his sister. He tries to give to his friends. He tries to do all this. No. That means absolutely nothing. Like, they could have shown that in episode 1 so much better. And they could have shown that he was a totally different person. A prankster, a fun person, but someone that still cared. So easily they could have done that. Failed. Again, epic fail because...
epic fail.
Yeah, epic fail.
Like just to imply that there's this inherent darkness in Matt.
No, I
just hated it. Now, that being said, I really liked the darkness in the ways.
At first, I didn't care for the ways that much, but no, I thought it was fine. The problem with the ways when they're running through the ways is they're running, and it seemed like they were running super slow. Like, could they not be like, okay, guys, we need you to really run, okay? We need you to really book your asses and get through this. And the whole time, they're all looking behind them. And Moraine looking behind her every second. Like, every shot with her.
That was just Lan that was looking behind. But
no.
It was Moraine.
Moraine was looking behind her the whole time. She'd look. That's not her. She knows what needs to be done, and she's looking forward because that's where she needs to get to, not looking behind her. That's what she should have been doing. It just felt
a misunderstanding of the characters. This is what I feel. I feel like, and this is how it happens in Hollywood, is that you hire directors, right? You're a producer, you hire directors, but if you do not intrinsically understand the books and the characters, why are you having this job? You know, like that one aspect about Moraine. Again, looking forward. You know, she was directed to look back. That was a director telling her that's the choice.
That's a director. A lot of this stuff is a director's thing.
And it's not the right
way
choice.
They come in, the way that Loyal comes in and introduces, and then Nynaeve comes in way after. That's a director's thing. That's no one else's.
So poor. Yeah, like it would have been so much better if Loyal was still speaking as Nynaeve rushes in and hugs him, and he's like, "And this is Nynaeve, and looks like you know each other." You know, like that would have been so much better. Because it would have been, instead of like, oh, wait for your cue, don't come in too early. No, go by your character, go by your feelings for these people. It was just like,
yeah.
So I want to talk about a couple things that I did like. Okay, so I liked the darkness in the ways. I liked that whole sequence and passage. I did not like. I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw a minute here. How there was only one Trolloc. Like
in the ways,
why is there one Trolloc? It was good because it allowed that moment where we think that Egwene used her power, but then we have the reveal that Rand actually used his. Which, by the way, I loved that reveal.
That was a good reveal. Yeah,
I loved that reveal of going back. I didn't feel like it had and it went back to what you were saying about before. Like, what happened to his passage from the farm to the village, and all the mumblings of his father about him being a child, and he found the child, you know, and it has this brief glimpse of that in this episode. Yeah, but it was too brief, in my opinion.
It was too brief, and you didn't understand it.
So
it would have been better if he was remembering that now. If they had shown that in the first episode, like I said, I think that would have been the best opener. That would have been an incredible opener, and then they could have been a little more time in showing the village and what's going on. And they didn't even need the Trolloc attack because they had this epic thing that drew people in immediately. It's them trying to rush through it. And they rushed through so much shit in that first one. Like, immediately at Tar Valon like so quickly. I'm fine with them skipping over stuff. I'm all right with those sorts of things, but just like the little nuances of where they're placing things and where they're putting stuff and how they're not telling us information. Again, I know this stuff and I'm still been like, wait, when are they going to tell us about this? Because my wife has no idea what this is. She's just like, oh, okay, they're this. What does that mean?
Here's the thing that I think is the greatest epic fail of theirs is that they are spending so much time on inconsequential stuff, like all this stuff that we're talking about of building the characters, of building the world, of building foreboding before the Trollocs attack, of really deepening our empathy for these wonderful characters. Instead, they tried to develop our empathy for this random warder who lost his Aes Sedai. Instead, they're trying to build our empathy for this barmaid who turns out to be a dark friend. We spend like 20 minutes of footage of time in that episode with this barmaid character, and we're like, who is this? This isn't even a character in the book. We don't know who this is. And what? Just so we can feel empathy for her and then find out that she's really bad? It's like, use your time and your resources more economically. Use your script more economically. Get better script writers that can portray that in a condensed time, and don't waste our time with this bullshit.
So, where's the badger, Brian? I felt like they kind of, like I said, Min's character, I thought she was fine. So I think they may, but it wasn't exactly like Min from the book.
I wanted to be more playful. I wanted to be a little more bouncy, but
it wasn't egregious, though. It wasn't egregious.
Yeah, it wasn't egregious. So one thing that I did want to point out, and I actually said this because what was a problem with episode 6 is suddenly they have to go to the Waygate, and it's never explained what a Waygate is, but suddenly they need to go to the Waygate. Suddenly they need to have Loial come with them, but there's no explanation of why Loial needs to come with them. And they suddenly need to go to the Eye of the World. And it's never explained. Why do we need to go to the Eye of the World? Why do we need to go to the Eye of the World? Like, that's the whole point. We're going to all these dangerous places.
They mentioned something about, like, that's where Rand, or whoever it is, whatever. We know that Rand's the Dragon Reborn now. But that's where something's going to happen. But that's it. It's vague.
I don't know. It wasn't given enough weight to make it worthwhile.
Honestly, again, I'm going to go back to it. Why the hell why are you saying that a woman's going to be or could be the Dragon Reborn? That's not what it is.
Or even that all 5 could be dragons.
And that all 5
they made this whole point of saying, Nynaeve is older. So she's not 20 or whatever age they decided, right? They decided 20 years ago is when it happened. But Nynaeve is 25. But now you're still saying it could be one of these 5 or all 5 together that are the dragon. What the hell? How can all 5 together be the one dragon? Like, it's ludicrous and asinine. How many times in these episodes have you turned to your wife and said, what did they just say? What was that? For me, the slurred speech is unforgivable. Like, there are so many times when they say a line and I'm like, I have no idea what they just said. I have to rewind it to understand what they said, and it's unforgivable. Like, that's the whole point, is that you can follow the story, you can follow the interaction of the characters and their speech to each other. And if you can't do that, like, what is the point? Why did you take up screen time by having them say a line that no one could understand?
I wonder about a lot of things. I wonder about the directors. I don't think that they ever really go through their criticism. I don't think that they ever will really look at it. It's probably too hard on them. It probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they went through and they'll be like, okay, what do the people have to say about this? They're going to see the good things. Maybe they'll see a couple comments about the bad ones, but they're just going to be like, I'm going to rationalize this and just say, you know what? Well, that was our choice and it's fine. It's good. And that's the problem again. It's fine. And are you aiming for something great? Or are you and do you honestly believe that you accomplished that? Because time will tell us
Yeah.
Time will tell us
Absolutely.
what it was.
Like-
Was it great? Was it good? Was it great? Was it fantastic? Was it bad? Or was it just okay? There's two things that I thought that they have done a fantastic job on. One is the one power, the way
Yep.
that they portrayed it.
Absolutely. I love how they do the
Fantastic.
one power.
Good job.
Yep.
The second is the Aiel and that whole fight. And
That
why
fight
they're
scene
really thinking. Like
was-
the fight scene,
was
because it
awesome.
showed what the Aiel are, even though, spoiler alert, even though she wasn't really Aiel. But it shows what they were. And everything else is just okay. I still do not like any of the characters. Min right now is the closest one. Yes, Nynaeve, I think she holds true. Moraine holds a little true. Mat was the one that Mat and Rand, I can understand where they're coming from. Rand is a little mopey, whatever. But Mat, honestly, that character, everyone loves in the book. He is so fun. There are still lots of other characters that people love.
Yeah.
Lan, people love Lan as well.
Yep.
They do in the book. In this one, I do not connect with him at all. Everything about him just feels like this is, I don't know. We just changed what they are.
I connect a little more with Lan, but I don't think it's for the right reason.
So long? No, I mean, but it's taking all this time. They're forcing all of this stuff. What could have been so natural.
See, and I think that can probably be the hallmark of this entire series of critiques is that it's just fine. It's just okay. When I look back on the great films, not just in the genre of fantasy or science fiction, but the great films are great because of just how they combine the elements of film with the source material. The Lord of the Rings will stand the test of times as a great and phenomenal series of movies. The Hobbit will not. No. We can maybe have a time when we talk about that. But The Lord of the Rings will. And I believe that despite the last season of Game of Thrones, that it will as well. My prediction is that this will not. Is that there will have to be, in another 10, 15, 20 years, another remake that truly does this justice, because this did not. That's the thing, is that the books have stood the test of time because they are, despite there are things to complain about, there are things to criticize, like Perrin moping, or whatever.
Yeah, like I said,
and Nynaeve being a bitch. But
the thing is that those characters, like, although that, you still love it besides that.
Exactly.
And some people love the mopey person.
I never disliked Perrin in the books.
Yeah.
And I see things, and honestly, I see things about each of these actors and about the characters playing. I see things that I do like, and I want to support and root for. But the problem is that it's just not being earned, and it's just fine. It's just okay. Well, what's ironic, Gunnar, is the one character who everyone loves in the books is the one character they felt the need to change the most and change into a darker person. Now I'm the first to admit that when with the dagger, there is darkness, there is and there are times in that first book where I was like, God, I am not liking Mat. I am not liking him. But that's the problem, is that you need to like him in the beginning, and we talked about this before, to have the contrast of the darkness, so you're willing to stick with him through that, and then have that change where he becomes the incredible character he becomes with all his quirks still, but that the darkness, he never struck me as a dark character in the books. Except for that brief stint with the dagger. Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying. I think that as far as epic fails go, Mat's character is the biggest epic fail with everything that's going on. Like, I can forgive them making Moraine a lesbian. It's stupid. It's moronic. What a dumb writing choice. Like, honestly, Producer, it added nothing to it. Production, everything, just dumb. But Mat, the most beloved character by far than anyone. Like, you want to read him almost always. In fact, when you go away to someone else, you get annoyed that you have to read someone else because he is such a fun, likable character.
In fact, wasn't there was like one book where he wasn't in it hardly at all,
and you get really upset. Yeah.
And I was like, "What the crap? Where is Matt?"
Everybody would save his sisters. You're yelling, "Oh well, he's really good, and though he has a hard time, and he's always
got a good heart."
No. You show that. You show that in the beginning. You don't have to have someone arguing. That's like, you have film. Please use it to convey what he's like. That argument that they had and that whole thing was unneeded. It was a
waste of film. Again, it was a waste of screen time.
A waste of time. Yeah, and all because you wanted to show a connection between Egwene and Rand again. Just idiotic. Oh, do we need to show this teenage rivalry or something? It had nothing to do with it. Anyway, Matt, they've set him up so badly to just be despicable and, oh, he has a good heart. I hate that sentiment. Oh, he has a good heart. They wouldn't have to say, oh, he has a good heart, unless he were doing something egregious.
If they managed to show it.
And they made him into a scoundrel. Think that's going to end it, because I could go on for another hours just yelling
we
about
need to wrap this up. But I do want to end by saying I really liked how they had that montage reveal of Rand being the one that used the power to knock off the Trolloc, and Rand being the one that had burst open the door, and like how it showed that he had used the power, and that he was the dragon. I liked the blight. That wasn't at all like the blight in the books.
No, it wasn't.
I liked it.
I kind of did. I'm a little hesitant on it, but I'm sure they're going to do good with it. I'm fine with it. I'll say I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It looked like it cost a lot of money to create that. So
maybe that's where they spend their money.
Well, anyway, I don't know how this is going. I don't know if anybody's finding this, like worthwhile or not. If you agree or not, I mean, we can take criticism. Please tell us where we are absolutely off base. Even negative comments, we'd love to. Please post them. But seriously, if you're going to say something like a critique, like, give a reason, back it up, have logical reasoning.
If you're going to say that all Aes Sedai are lesbians, please provide me with all the information that says that.
Provide me with the references and backups.
They are not. In the lore, they are all like this. No, what lore? What the hell are you talking about? And please do not change the main characters or characters into having some relationship that they didn't need, because it just made it cheap. Yeah.
All right.
You don't even
Gunnar,
need. Okay, bye-bye.
Go to bed.
This morning. Oh, why am I telling you this? This is horrible. Oh yeah, because this is my journal. This is my journal. That's why. I'm sending it to you guys so that you can listen to what goes on in my life. This is all personal stuff.